And I have an activity that includes prizes. So, pay attention, you know? And that'll help you out. So, okay, so we're going to talk about reliable research. Like, obviously right now, the fake news is really big. It seems like there's more fake news than real news out there, which is tough. And that's how research is always going to be. You want to make sure you're finding reliable information for your topic. So everybody this whole time probably has their topic in mind. And your research is going to look different from somebody else's, depending on what your topic is. So maybe you're researching drones. Your research is going to look different than somebody who's researching, like, and I don't know why anybody would do this, but researching like the Oxford comma or something. So you're, like, based on your subject, it's going to be different on how you go about your research. And you're going to go about it in a way that's comfortable for you. And a way that helps you understand what you're reading and your research and that kind of thing. So making sure you're looking at reliable websites. If you're doing internet research, it's really hard to tell what's reliable sometimes. Some websites seem like they're going to be reliable, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, that doesn't look good. That looks kind of sketchy. So, and I used this example in the last one, but there's a website called martinlutherking.org. Does that sound reliable? Yeah. martinlutherking.org. Right, it's .org. .org's always sound a little bit more reliable, which I would go to it and show you, but it's blocked on your server. So that's like, just tells a little bit right there. It's also, but when you look at it, you're like, oh, this looks like maybe it has some information on it. But it looks like someone just kind of threw together a website and doesn't like it doesn't look like you'd expect it for .org, I guess. It doesn't look as legit as another website on Martin Luther King might. You can check to see who owns these kinds of websites and you can see how reliable they are. And there's a website called who.is, which I'm going to show you. Not who.is.com, it's just who.is. And you can look up domains and see who owns those. And that's a good way to check to see if what you're looking at is a good place to start. So we'll use the martinlutherking.org example here. So we will look this up, martinlutherking.org on who.is and look at its domain. So you scroll down. This is the guy who owns it, Don Black, from an organization called Stormfront. So if you look into the company Stormfront, you learn that is a white supremacist group. So now this website that you think might have been a good one actually isn't, because it is run by a white supremacist organization. So that's a really extreme example, but you can always check into like the background on websites if you're trying to think if that's a reliable source. Especially for just random websites. If you're like doing research, like just Googling things, and you're like reading up on research, that's a good way to check if this is a good website for your research. So, who.is. Now we all know that martinlutherking.org is run by white supremacists. Okay. All right, so yes, Google searches are going to be fine. You're going to be doing some okay research that way, but I'm going to give you a few tips that make your research a little bit better. And some other places you can start to get research instead of just like a Wikipedia article, which is not a reliable resource, and I wouldn't cite it in a paper. There's another example that I used in the last one, but Wikipedia, don't use it. Don't use BuzzFeed News. Don't do there are things you're gonna know that you shouldn't use as research. I think just because you've been on the internet before, and so just kind of be using your critical thinking brains while you're doing research. So, okay, so
question over here.
You can start. Do what?
We have a question right here.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
What about things like Reddit? Because some articles on Reddit are somewhat reliable and have some substance to them.
So, a good kind of rule of thumb, I guess, is when you're reading things like that, you should be able to find that information somewhere other than just a Reddit thread. Like, you might get super accurate information. You could have Neil deGrasse Tyson on a Reddit thread, like, giving you this information, and yeah, that's going to probably be reliable. He's an astrophysicist. Like, you're going to get good stuff from him, but, like, you should be able to find that information somewhere else, too. So, like, it could be an article, it could be a book, it could be his own personal website that, or or whatever. So you're going to be able to find it, and that's a good thing to think about when you're reading news articles as well. So if you're reading in a newspaper, and you see an article and you're reading about something and you think maybe that sounds a little weird, or you just want to make sure this is something good, you should be able to read about that same topic. It'll be written differently, and maybe from a different point of view in another newspaper. So you shouldn't be able to just find your information in one place. That's a good way to think about reliability. It should be, if it's factual especially, it should be someplace else too. It's not going to just be on a Reddit thread. But yeah, you can start there. I don't know why you couldn't start there, but I would just think about before using that as like my source. So that's a good question. So Google is a good place to do a lot of research, and it's free. But there's another really cool Google website called Google Scholar. Has anybody used Google Scholar before? Yes, awesome. I love Google Scholar. I read nerdy stuff on here all the time, just for fun, because I'm a librarian. So you can go in here and you can type search terms. So, for instance, what are some of the topics you're doing besides drones? Because I know that one. Someone's doing child prodigies. Yes. And then someone else is doing something else that was crazy. Oh, what was that movie? Interstellar? Somebody doing Interstellar? And like wormholes or something?
Well, Ruth is doing one on
The Mandela effect.
Interesting. I don't know anything about that. But like
If I start, I'm not gonna stop.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, well, that's cool. That's cool though if it's something that you're interested in. So on Google Scholar, you can start by just using search terms. So you said the Mandela effect, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So like that's a good search term, obviously. Sometimes the very obvious search terms are good. If you're doing drones, that's a good search term. You don't have to go very far to get extra search terms. But if you're compiling a whole list of searches, that's going to help you in your research. So say you're doing the Mandela effect. I don't have any idea what that's about. Or even like this subject. I'm assuming it's science. And I'm assuming probably physics. Right? Is that right?
Yeah, science and a bit of a conspiracy theory.
Okay, so like there's some terms right there. You got conspiracy theory. You got physics. You got so you just think a little bit outside of what just specifically your term is, and that will help get you more research, especially if you're stuck. You're like, I have nowhere to go now. By broadening your terms a little bit, then you're going to get a little bit more information to start with. So in Google Scholar, you can do a lot of that. This is like my own personal nerd research, but I really enjoy like video game theory and reading about like Fallout games or Bioshock games and like background nerd stuff. So I go here a lot just to read those articles for fun, or like I like to read about social media and scholarship. So, but I might like come in here and like type Bioshock because I like that game series. So I would read about it. And so you can start with just a term like that. Straight up just typing your term in there, and you're gonna get a lot of results. Bioshock is also a thing. It's not just a game. Like it's a term, like a real term in science. So that will get you all those results. So you're going to want to narrow it down a little bit. As you can see on the side, you can narrow it down by like what year it was published, all this different stuff, which will help you guys specifically when you're reading your research, especially like in fields of science and things. Those things change all the time. So recent research is usually some of the most reliable places to start for research. But I can narrow this down by using different terms as well. You can start just by putting quotations around your search term in Google. So if I just put quotations on both sides of Bioshock, I'm only going to get the term Bioshock. When you're only using one search term, it doesn't matter as much if you're using that. But if you have a couple of search terms that you're using at the same time, it will make a difference. Because the way that Google works is that so say you're searching for like Mandela effect, or like drones in the government, or drones in government, or whatever. Whatever phrase you use, it's going to search for that phrase first. So it'll search for like Mandela effect, right? That's your first term. But it'll also search for all combinations of those words in any way. Or if the article has both words in it in completely different contexts, it's still looking for those. So by putting quotations around it, you're getting it specifically, this is the term I want to look for. So it's going to narrow down your research a lot and make it more relevant to your stuff. So quotations are good. You can also use Boolean searches, which is and, or not. to narrow it down. So say I want to look for Bioshock, and this could be a completely ridiculous topic because none of you might know what Bioshock is, but I know the company that creates it is a company called Bethesda. So I'm going to look for Bioshock and Bethesda because I want just the game. Or like say I'm doing Twitter. I want to read about Twitter and I want to read about activism or something. Then I can do like Twitter and activism. And then I would put those in quotations because I want just those terms. And Google doesn't search for ands, ors, and nots necessarily. That's why they add them together. Like they don't search for the, they don't search for is. So if you're typing a sentence, you're not going to get very accurate terms or research from that. Does that make sense? Did anybody have any questions? I didn't ask enough if people had questions in the last one. So, okay, so that's Google Scholar a little bit. It's really cool. You can save your searches on here if you have a Gmail, and you can return to those articles later, which is really nice because sometimes you don't have all the time to like read all your articles right then. So you can save them and come back to them just by pushing the little save button that's underneath each article if you're logged in. So that's Google Scholar. You can use the quotations on regular Google too. Like you don't have to be in Google Scholar, but that'll find you scholarly articles, journal articles, more reliable stuff in there than just like a Wikipedia article or Amazon, which is going to show me where I can buy a game Bioshock or whatever. You can also use this. So there's like a lot going on here, but site.gov is a cool way to narrow down your searches in Google as well. So say I am doing drones, and I want to see like what the government has to say about drones, because they use drones. There's regulation on drones. You get a certain style drone, you have to get it registered with the government, all kinds of stuff. So, but I want to see like what information I can read about drones and the government. So, .govs are government websites, right? So there's .coms, .nets, .edus, all this stuff. .edus are usually university websites. .govs are government websites, and .coms are like commercial websites, all that kind of stuff. So when you're doing research, .govs and .orgs tend to be a little bit more reliable. Obviously, as we learned, MartinLutherKing.org, not reliable. So it's not always, but you tend to find a little bit more that way by starting there. So I can go to Google. And now I want to search for drones, but I want to see only .gov websites. So I'm going to do the site:\.gov, just like that in my search. And now it's really hard to see from where you guys are, but every website that has now popped up is a .gov. Like this is NASA.gov, this is FAA.gov, and so I can read about it specifically from government sources. And that's sometimes really helpful. Some of your stuff may really go well with that. Some of you might not be doing something that you care to read about what the government has to say about it. But for something like a drone or, I don't know, what other topics are you guys doing? Anybody else have any other images? Anybody? You all have a
Why school should start at noon.
That's a good one. Well, you'd be here all night. That's why you shouldn't start at noon.
Well, we do things in the morning.
Yes, yeah, I guess
We
that's
do
true.
other things after school anyway.
Sure. You just sleep in and go to no school. No worries. That's how it would really turn out. Let's be really honest, guys. Okay, so yeah, so you can use that to narrow down the types of sites you're looking at. You may never use this in your research, and that's okay, but you might find that that's a really cool, useful term. It doesn't have to be .gov, it can be .org, or just .coms, or .nets, or whatever. You can change that last part. But .gov tends to be, I think, if I'm looking specifically, I'm usually mostly looking in .govs than anything else. So that's a cool term that you can use to do some Google searching.
I like searching.
Yeah, searching. Google searching. So, okay. Does anybody have any questions about anything so far? Yeah, exactly. Searching. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can use our library website to do a little bit more research. So, how many of you are also continuing, what's it called, dual enrollment?
Dual enrollment.
In any form. Oh, most of you. Okay, great. And if you aren't dual enrollment, just have a library card, then you're already more set. So through those websites, like Yalpi College, which I think is for your all students, right?
Yes.
So So they have access to pretty much all the same databases we do. So if you get on, and they have more. They have ours and more. So they have Gale, which is what I'm going to show you today, but they'll have other kinds as well. And you treat them kind of the same way, they'll just look a little different. So you can still do the same kinds of searches, narrow it all down the same way as I'm going to show you, but they're going to have a little different interface. But you can go through the Yavapai College website to do research on there with your card. You probably have to have your student ID or whatever. For today, since we're going through the library website, I have my library card written with here, and that you have to use it to log in to the databases, which you will need when we have our competition at the end. So just keep that in mind. All right, so our library website is PV, as in Prescott Valley, lib, L-I-B, for library.net. It's written on the board. And this is important to how to get to the databases, which you will need later. So this is our website. If you scroll down here on the left, there's like this little purple button that says online resources. If you click that, you get this big long list of databases that you have access to. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff on here that's not just school related. You can listen and download music for free in Freegal, which is the database that we pay for. You just have to have a library card. You can get 3 free songs a week and listen to 3 hours a day of music for free. We also have Mango Languages, which is like Rosetta Stone, and you can learn another language, which is pretty cool. This is that Freegal music one right here. But anyway, so most of the ones you'll use for research are right here in homework and student resources. The one I'm going to show you guys today is opposing viewpoints in context. But if you have a topic that fits one of these other databases better, you can start just by looking right in there. So if you're doing a U.S. history one, and you can go right into U.S. histories in context, or global issues, or whatever fits your stuff better. You can also do a big power search right here and search all the databases at once. It's a lot to do that. You can do it, and I recommend doing that as well as looking in specific ones, because you'll get different information. But if you're just looking in there, it's going to be like a lot of stuff to sift through. So if you look in specific databases, that'll help. So then I clicked on that opposing viewpoints, and this is where you log in. So it's that's with your library card number. And then this is what the database looks like. So if you're using a Gale database, they all look the same, which is really, really nice. Because then you don't have to learn a whole new website. You just know that you're in a different one. It always tells you what it is. This is opposing viewpoints. It'll say like science or biographies or whatever one you're in. But it'll all have this kind of look. So they have like hot topics down here that are on different topics. So health and medicine, you can read about vaccines or globalization or women in politics or whatever. You can also do searches. So this is not like an all-encompassing list of topics on here. You can use your terms and search up here. But I'm going to show you that you can kind of look through some of them because some of them will just be listed, like if you're doing drones. You're going to be tired of hearing me say drones by the end of the day. So you can come in here and you can look based on topic. So I'm not going to look at drones. I'm going to switch it up and look at cloning. So all of them, once you choose your topic and you get into it, they're all going to look like this, the pages. So it'll have your topic, usually a picture, kind of a summary of what it is. And then on the side, you have a little menu of what's on this page. So so we have statistics, we have images, we have references, magazines, whatever. So you have access to all of these different types of resources, which I know you need different types of sources for your papers. You can find them all in one place. So you have magazine articles, you have newspaper articles, you have different websites, you have scholarly stuff, all in one place. The only thing you don't have is a physical book, which I'm going to show you how to get that too. So, but you can go down and you can click on any of these, but I want to look in like academic journals. And you can save them here, you can look in the article. This tells you how difficult the article is in terms of like reading level. This is not a good example, but because the article is not here. Sometimes the article isn't there, and that's okay. You can take, sometimes you won't have access to it, but if you have, you can take this title and go to Google Scholar, and you can type this exact title in or copy and paste it, put quotation marks around it, and sometimes you can get it through Google Scholar, which is nice. But if you're in an article that you can like read the whole thing about instead of just okay, so they're all gonna look similar to this. There's some cool things you can do in here. You can listen to it, which is kind of nice. Sometimes people don't want to read it; they want to listen to it. I can also highlight things that I think are important, and it saves all my highlights for me. I can also put a note. It's like neato. Because I think that's cool. You're going to be more insightful than me probably. So, and then I can later go back and see like what I did, and it'll save it for me in my highlights and notes, which I didn't click on. And it'll take me back to that article. So that's a kind of a neat thing that you can do through the Gales, and you can do that on all of them, no matter what one you're in. And that's really a neat resource, and you guys should take advantage of it, especially if you have a library card. So. And then you also need a physical book, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you can get those through the library. And your school is one of the libraries in our system, and so you can choose books online and have them brought to your school, and you never have to go to the library. I know, right? I mean, that makes me sad because like then you're not at the library, but it's useful for your research and yourself. So you can do some searches. This is our library website again, pvlib.net. You can, up here is where you start doing your searches. So I'm going to look by subject, but I can also look by author, title, or series, and then I'm going to look in all libraries first. So somebody give me a topic that they're working on. Drones. Are you the drones person? You're welcome. So you could do drones. That's a good straight up subject to look at. So we'll just do that one first. So subject, we did drones. So you're gonna get some, and you're gonna get some, like you got crones. Like I don't know why that.
Oh boy.
I don't know why that came up that way. But so now what we can do is we can take this and we can narrow it down from here. So on this right side here, you can narrow down by library if you want to. Right now we're gonna keep it at all libraries because you have access to more. But I'm gonna change it to nonfiction because. You don't want a fictional book about drones for your research. It's not going to be very helpful. It might be an awesome book to read, though, like for fun, if you're into that kind of thing. And you can also narrow it down by the type. So if you want a CD, if you want a DVD on drones, or you want an ebook, or a graphic novel, or just a regular book, which is what we want here, or a government document, which is also kind of cool. So now I can go down and look through these, and I can choose one that I think is helpful for me. So I'm going to look at drones warfare, because why not? And I can put it on hold using my library card, and I can have it picked up here at this school. And then you can also drop it off at the school when you're done with it. So you never have to go to the library. Or you can go to the library and get it, you know. I'm about that. If you come to the library, we'll help you. And also, I forgot to tell the other class this, but you can email me if you have questions and you need help with research. I'm like available. That's what librarians do a lot. And my email's on the board. It's smarks@pvz.net. So if you have like a question about research or you just need some help getting started, I will not do your research for you, but I will help you get ready and get started. So this is it. Look behind this. So you're not gonna find it. So that's how you can do a catalog search there and put books on hold. Anybody have any questions about anything? No questions? Awesome. You're basically done with your research, right? Now that we've got it all. After today, you're good to go.
Yeah, you did do my research.
Well, good. Okay, so now I have a game that will require you to have the laptops. And this is just to see if you're paying attention and how to do research. So everybody needs to go to our library website. Actually, I'm going to make this bigger. So, not bigger, but like you have more options, I guess. The point is, like when you're doing research, there's a lot of ways to get information, and it doesn't have to be done in one specific way. So think about it that way. There's a lot of ways to get information. and a lot of ways to research. So, you can go to our website and go to the online databases, just the list of them. You will need this number to get in, to log into any of the databases. Oh, if you know your library card number on the top of your head, like I love that, and you know for it.
Yeah, fourth hour was pretty impressed when she wrote her entire long number from memory.
I do know mine, but like if you are a librarian, you know it. So.
I barely remember my cash from
You're like, I got this. No big deal. That's great. Yes. It's just S Marks at PVL. And if it doesn't work, you can always ask Miss Kauffman, and she can.
I can hook you up.
Yeah, she's got the hookup. So.
Yeah, I do.
She will know. Okay, is everybody there? I'll go to that website so you know what I'm talking about. This one. This is what it should look like. Do what? This is it right here. This is the website I'm talking about. Is everybody here? Yes, ma'am. I'm just trying to get you the same place so you're all in the same place. Where do we go? It's on our website on the left. Oh, yeah. We want it to be very nice.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, are we all there? You can log in already, or you can find a database that's specific to the subject. It's up to you. Lots of ways that you can do it. All right. Are we there? You're not there? Are you in a database? If you're in a database, that's okay too. Yeah, the purple button. Okay. All right. Are you ready? There are some pretty cool candy prizes that come with this, so I only have extra 3 winners, so think about it that way. All right, the first one to get me what I want. Okay, are you ready? I would like an online scholarly article from a journal on internet activism. It's right here. Internet activism.
Sorry, say that
And then
again?
raise your hand if you got it.
Wait.
I want a scholarly article on internet activism. Nope. Oh, sorry. No. I got a sweet green head. Thank you. Just take credit for that.
Is your sensitivity all universal? It's like
Yes. Nice.
How?
She went to Google Scholar, which is also an option, but I want to get everybody to use it. I want to see if you got it.
I came into the room with 75% battery. And it just died.
Congratulations.
I did my part. I did my part.
What'd you serve?
Well, now you're missing out on candy.
I know.
You went full on,
I got nothing.
but
That's good. That's good.
to narrow it down. There's a thing called the search box.
So I would say yeah.
Is there a plug back there?
I mean, I already have a winner this round, so I don't want to get
I
too
love
much,
the clever.
but I
And then
do
you
want to
put
see
in
yeah,
right
that's good.
here.
Make sure that
God.
Okay, so research, but in this situation we just walk out. So, good. Doesn't have to be
What specific detail?
no result.
Excuse me.
There's
not excuse me.
articles you have it over here.
I can lose.
You know, right spot, you know.
Right there.
Aaron has to sing dance.
We're not gonna win.
I haven't seen
Okay, you want?
You have a chance.
No?
My parents like love the song.
All right. Anybody else have it on Shelbie? I just want to see that we're all in the right area.
Well, that's what I got.
Look at you, which you don't have to do, but it's great. It's nice to get like a bunch of different extra stuff.
I just want
So you have books, which is good.
Yeah.
It's not the scholarly article I was looking for, but also helpful. You gotta have this kind of stuff too.
Okay.
You're in the right area. All right.
God never failed to read. Jeez. Cheese.
Okay, awesome. You guys are great. You were the winner, so we'll get you that. You're the winner. What was your name? Yes. I don't think it matters. I don't know. I've never tried to put it before, but yes, right. So I don't. So it only works with the last one. So you have site empathy.gov. Empathy.gov is probably not.
So you would have to look up.
Right. Oh, right. So it's like your topic, so you have empathy, and then it would be a site.gov. Does that make sense? Have you seen the Key and Peele substitute teacher? Yeah. That's what this is. He's like pointing at him. And he's like yelling at him. Aaron. Oh, that's Aaron.
Oh,
That's Aaron
I
right
figured
there.
it out. It looked like I looked like that, and I was so confused.
So like empathy and then space. And
You know what?
okay, awesome. You guys are great. I have two more. So this is a little different. We're not looking at databases anymore. I want a print. But I want a graphic novel on the civil rights. Civil rights movement, civil rights movement. Then just raise your hand when you have it.
You want what?
Graphic novel on civil rights.
Art physical copy.
Wait,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I want. I'm so confused.
yeah.
Remember you go to
So, I didn't anticipate using like Google to search for one. Okay, I see that. Is it a graphic novel?
Oh, I got some.
Novel.
I got it.
Graphic novel. We're in the right area.
No, you don't.
I didn't think about like using Google like to look for a graphic novel. I was anticipating everybody would look at it, but like obviously that's not the case. That's okay. That's okay.
Why are you being rude at Curtis? Yeah, it's just in here to like help. What the heck, Curtis? Well, don't even listen to him, man.
But I still want to teach you. There are 3 March books. They're great. Yes. So usually they're just different type of yeah, and then you can narrow it down by like an adult or whatever graphic novel. There's a way to narrow it down. In there, once you've done the search, there's also
Good job.
sometimes you can do straight graphic novel, but it's not always regular. And I do want to mention that so you can always do an adult. Yeah, and then maybe do it. Right, so they're not all graphic novels. So you can also generally they're listed as young adult, which I thought I said young adult, but I don't think I don't know. And then like that. And you can tell by the book. Are you? Sarah, he said how do you also, you're not by nonfiction. Because, like, you're going to be nonfiction about the civil rights. So they're not separate. Those will be, like, listed like this. And then you have to find so they should do which, like, we're not the same as you can't really. So, I mean, you should still do that. No, you did. You worked hard.
Oh my god, I just had it. I hate it. It was you.
So, okay. All right.
Oh, found it?
No, you didn't.
Nice job, guys. You did good. And it was unexpected that you like went to Google. Although, like, I should have anticipated that. Yes. Move the ones. No, I already got it. But I like seeing that you did it anyway. Okay. For the last one, you don't need a computer. You could use like a Word document if you wanted to instead of writing. Either way. But you need a piece of paper or something to write on. It can be on your computer too, if that's easier for you. Alright. Are we all ready? We have something to write on. Writing surface. Yes. Okay.
Oh, then we can erase this joke right now.
For
Yeah.
this, we're gonna do a topic this time. What I want you to do is I'm gonna give you a topic and I want you to come up with the most search terms for it as you can. As many search terms as possible in like a minute. Okay? Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a topic and you're gonna write as many search terms that relate to that topic as possible in like 30 seconds. Okay? The person who has the most terms will win. This is just to help you think about like the kind of wide variety of stuff you can search for on each topic. Okay? All right. Are we ready? But you have to read it out loud, so. Okay. Our topic is NASA. NASA.
Good topic.
And go. They're so creepy. It's impressive.
I'm trying to get my computer back in touch. Write shorter and shorter stories. So we're reading like a page media.
Yeah. They're so really I will step on it. I will just. Okay. 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 All right, we're done. All right, everybody stop writing. All right, so who thinks they might have the most? Like, how many do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How many aliens do?
It already sounds like you might have the most. Then you have more than 12 or 12 or more. Whoa! All right. Whoa! All right, how many do you have? You have 20? Okay. Anybody have more than 20? Okay, but I want you to read them out. Because if they like are not related, I'm not going to count it. You know.
Space, astronomy, science, rockets, time travel, ships, planets, universe, sphere, solar system, matter, sun, black holes, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Hey, and
I totally put Dr. Odin in one of
So
mine.
That's good. That's a good search, especially if you're doing like space. I don't know how like NASA specific you're gonna get with that, but it's good. It's a good list of terms.
Wait, I'm fine.
Like, take me through your
You have 20 terms on NASA.
But the bird's like, it's only a plane.
It does count, but
That's still, it should just be playing.
No.
all right.
She'll be
You
taking
guys
it.
are really good.
So the whole
House.
group.
Thank you for listening.
So which one What? Wait, what'd she say?
We have 20 minutes left in class. What I want you to do is to spend time researching your topic. Because your essay is due sooner than you think it is. It's due on the, I think it's the 19th. So it's, I have a whole week. So let's do research now. Additionally, you have homework this weekend. I want you to read The Murders of the Rue Morgue. It's a PDF on Moodle. Story by Edgar Allan Poe. So that is on Moodle. Make sure you read this weekend. Tom, you had a question.
I was gonna ask
You can ask her questions.
Shell.
How would you? I'm just gonna like try to avoid stuff.
Yep.
So, I would like to require
So I want you to look on research. If you have questions, you can ask Miss Shelbie or myself.
You can start like
mine is the internet, how it affects addiction, and just like how it affects our daily life.
So you can start by starting with 5 although you say it's you might not like websites.